Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Ampro Engineering. What we have here is a new product from RocHobby. This is the 1/18 scale Cheyenne 6x6. You can see it's based on a Jeep body. They obviously don't have the license for that, but that's what we're looking at. Front end is quite similar to the Firehorse with the angry face grille, but you can see here at the rear there's a little more substance. Okay, if you want to read what we have here, please go ahead and pause. Very cool looking trunk here. I'm quite intrigued to see how big the thing is going to be. Here we have some measurements in millimeters, but let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, actually, there's quite a lot of information here. They do mention that it has indicators, so I'm curious if that's just at the rear. For those of you new to the FMS line, for those of you new to the RocHobby vehicles, many of them come in these wonderful foam boxes. And normally I would never talk about how great a box is, but the fact that you can simply store the thing in here and throw it off a building without any damage is unbelievable. Remote control. This is a very common remote control for the FMS line. More and more of these RocHobby cars do have it. They feel pretty good in your hand. I would like it more if I wasn't such a fan of the higher end RocHobby remote, which is much smaller and has additional functions. But this one here is still quite excellent. I've bought 1/10 scale RC cars with remotes not even remotely as nice as this one here. Let's take the truck out. Ooh, there's a lot of wheels on this guy. Also, note how they ship these. They've got the little foam packing around there to really make sure the thing survives. For some reason, it looks really small. It is a 1/18 scale vehicle. I have a lot of FMS cars, but this one here just seems small for some reason. I think it's because the bulk of the visual weight is coming from this segment of the car and not the back. Oh, here's the roll cage. They also mentioned that it has a working tailgate. Sure do. There you go. Nice. Boy, it's a nice meaty tailgate too. Closes very nicely. Little fake reverse camera. Good amount of axle travel here. Now check out the rear drive shaft. That is very nice. Really, all of their drive shafts are always nicely detailed. Wow, cool. The interior is actually multicolor. You can see that the transmission tunnel is body color and the seats are gray, so there's actually some attention to detail in there. Very nice. Okay, it's peel. Okay, this has always been a problem for me and these FMS/RocHobby and EZRC cars. Every time there's adhesive that will not come off. Yeah, you can see a little smudge right there. Let's try and use the sticker to peel it off. It's actually coming off. Oh, there it goes. It's actually in the little baggie over here. These batteries seat themselves kind of in this area here. Okay, you plug that into this. I do want to turn this on. I've installed 4 AAA batteries in here. Excuse the paint on my hand. Switch, I believe, is under the little panel. When the car's not on, you'll have these flashing lights here, which are kind of cool. Plug in the battery. These batteries always come charged, I think, to around 1/3, and that is a shipping requirement for safety reasons. And the power switch is this little tact switch right there. So, looks like we've got the steering slightly, yeah, it's pulling slightly to the right, so we can adjust the steering trim just right here. There we go. Perfect. Probably not, but close enough. Let's see here the headlights. So they are not turning on going forward. What are the taillights doing? Okay, so taillights are going on while reversing. They mentioned that these things have headlights and they are off. So let's show you how this works. Although this radio has many channels, this truck doesn't take advantage of all these. I'm going to see that little LED plus light right, or the button right there. Move this into mode B, like that, and then press this button. I'll do that off camera, but you'll see what's going to happen. Okay, that's usually low beam, high beam, off. Allegedly, there are turn signals. Nothing in the front. What about the rear? We got rear turn signals. We do. brake lights when going backwards, and we have signals. I would take regular on red taillights versus taillights that turn on when you're backing up. Not a huge fan of that, but I'm anal when it comes to lighting. Something I just keep noticing is that the paint job, and this is paint, okay? This is not just the color of the ABS plastic. This is paint. It's beautiful. I mean, look at the roof. This is really, really well done. Door handles are all separate. Mirrors are all separate. Wipers probably need a bit of glue to keep them in the same orientation, but those are all separate. Snorkel. The front grille, to me, I'm not a big fan of the angry face Jeeps, but the plastic on the grille looks a little bit cheap. The frame is all metal, by the way. There are quite a lot of upgrades that are coming out for these vehicles, and just so you know, FMS does in fact sell replacement parts for all of their vehicles on the Fair RC website. I do want to install this roll cage, so let's do that. Before I do that, I wanted to mention something that a lot of people don't realize. Oftentimes people email me and just complaining about the lack of steering angle on these cars. I mean, look how much it's turning, okay? This is an option. So in mode B, there's a button right there. Okay, this one up here in the corner, and it says reverse steering and angle. So in mode B, it's going to adjust the angle. So check out what happens. I'm going to crank it to one side. Okay, see that? So back to its original setting. Okay, so now we have significantly greater steering angle. That's where the adjustment is. But that is not all. There is a training mode right here. So here's with the training mode off. I'm just going to floor it. Oh, so it's not fast, but also it likes to climb my cabinets, which is cool. Training mode on. So it basically slows it down. Training mode off. So assembling this is pretty straightforward. I will let you know that the screws required, the screwdriver required is incredibly tiny. Think eyeglass repair kit. Okay, so there's one. Now you have to actually install this by threading it, by screwing it onto the bed of the Jeep, pardon me, the Cheyenne. I'm not going to do that because I really prefer it without this, but let's just take a look anyway. Okay, so that's it. And when you're doing this, don't over torque it. You'll strip it out really easily. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, you know, I'm just realizing here. Let's go drive this. Sweet. I want to do that again. That was fun. First things first, that was a terrible review of the driving because I could not be bothered to record. I was just having too much fun with this thing. It's really interesting because I've actually never driven, have I? No, I don't think I ever driven a car with 6 wheels before. And it had a really interesting dynamic. Like, part of it was extra traction from the rear, but another part of it was the fact that effectively it could go over some pretty reasonably sized things because it was harder to high center. The runtime on these things, in case you're not familiar, it's round about 25 to 30 minutes. They run a long time. I did give it a bit of a dusting because it got kind of dirty out there. There are some areas where they're not great on. They don't like loose dirt. No matter what I've tried in some areas, these tires don't grip on a surface if it's really, really loose. However, at the same time, they are great on sand. I'd love to try this on sand, but for the life of me, I can't think of any place other than the beach, which I'm not near right now, that has sand. The 4x4 versions of these are incredible on sand. So I'm here to believe that this thing should be utterly unstoppable. I've tipped it over. Utterly unstoppable on sand. Couple things that annoy me. I'm not a big fan of the monochromatic paint scheme. Yeah, I know the interior is technically grayish, but it all kind of is grayish to me. I wish the taillights were on all the time instead of having them on during reverse. The question, of course, is do you want one? Thing is, for me, I like to use these smaller scale 1/16 and 1/18 scale cars quite often to go on trips. I take a lot of trips with the family, even day outings, and it's so simple to throw 3 or 4 of these in the car. They take up basically the same room as one 1/10 scale vehicle, which is outstanding. If you're looking for a crawler, I hesitate to call this a crawler. This is definitely a trail truck. It will not travel at walking speeds, but it is definitely something that is usable outdoors and most definitely usable indoors. Price-wise, they're about the same price as an Axial. I suspect that these have a fraction of the upgrades available for the Axials, but like I said earlier, you can get replacement parts for these very easily from the Fair RC website. There's a link in the description if you are interested in this vehicle. I hope you found this video informative, and I have some big projects for a couple of the other FMS/RocHobby cars coming up very soon, so please stay tuned. We've got some more videos for a couple of Tamiyas and a heck of a lot of upgrades coming out. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.